The feast of the breaking of fasting, Ramadan, is around the corner. Muslim faithful observe the last night of fasting, which paves the way for tomorrow's prayer and feasting in mosques and homes. The Imam of the Central Mosque No. 2 of Brikateri, Yaoundé, Imam El Hajj Nji Kupit MEFIRE Ali SINE, quits the scene. The 62-year-old spiritual leader died today in Yaoundé. On the path of a cure for the contagious and deadly coronavirus, a cardiologist researches and proposes cure to remedy the ailment that is claiming lives in Cameroon. Details of the therapy in this newscast. Good evening and thanks for joining us. Those were the headlines of the 7:30 news. Muslim faithful today observe the last night of the month of Ramadan, which ends the period of intense prayer, fasting and reflection. The annual observance of the Ramadan, regarded as one of the 5 pillars of Islam, will be done in Yaoundé in the absence of the Imam of the Central Mosque No. 2 of Brikateri. As we should be seen in the pictures, Imam El Hajj Nji Kupit MEFIRE Ali SINE died today in Yaoundé after an illness. He will be remembered for his selfless service at the mosque for over 3 decades. His spiritual leadership at important events such as the Feast of the Ramadan and Tabaski earned him huge respect from the followers of Allah. His implication in the resolution of the socio-political crisis in the northwest and southwest regions, as well as the Boko Haram insurgency in the far north, is being applauded. The Bamoun native from the West region, who dies at the age of 62, leaves behind his biological and spiritual family to mourn him. At the Brikateri neighborhood of Yaoundé, inhabited mostly by Muslim faithful, preparations ahead of the Eid Mubarak feast are gaining steam. Many are engaged in last-minute purchase, while others, especially the female folk, are paying attention to their physical appearance. Beatrice Ngum combed the neighborhood to feel the pulse of the preparations. This is what she discovered.
At the Brikateri neighborhood, it's business as usual. The Ramadan wind is blowing and every trader is feeling it. These shoe vendors are making brisk business.
People mostly buy shoes for their children. At the beginning, we sold children's shoes at 2,000, 2,500 or even 3,000. But since shoes are scarce, we have increased the prices to 3,500 and 4,000.
Table birds dealers too have no reason to complain. Sales are good.
When it's Ramadan, I have more table birds. I have 120 table birds with me now. But by 11 a.m., I will sell them all.
Tellers are compelled to stay overnight if supplies must be ready on time. So damsels like Meramu are not disappointed.
I'm going to the market to go and plait my hair. After, I'll go and take my dress. I have already done my drawing, under my legs.
A beautiful hairdo matched with a nice Nale design is attracting many. Clients on this eve of the Ramadan feast are many. Service providers are satisfied.
We have many customers, but not like the last year because of this coronavirus. We are working all night. Even yesterday we were working all night because there were many customers here.
Sunday's menu too is already known.
There will be chicken, meat and a bit of fish and fried vegetables. I will also make some natural juice like baobab, milk, folere and ginger drink.
Besides putting on pretty shoes and dresses, there will certainly be much to eat and drink at the Eid Mubarak party.
Completing the month of fasting and prayer has been fastidious for many Muslims, especially as the deprivation was characterized by additional measures of hygiene and physical distancing. They were able to brave the challenges, they say, by the power of Allah, who watches over his people in times of difficulties. Joyce Tata spoke to a couple of them and reports on what their state of mind is as to the celebration of the Ramadan feast.
2020's month of fasting draws to an end with one plea from the majority of Muslim faithful.
We are preparing, even though under hard difficulty because of the COVID-19, you all know. But thank God we have fasted. We've come towards the end of the month, and we are doing our best to to prepare for the feast.
We are praying a lot for this disease to cease. Tomorrow, access to mosques will be limited to a number of persons.
Some are carrying out their daily activities normally in a bid to get their minds off the frightening situation of COVID-19 presently.
I thank Allah for helping my family and I fast for 30 days. We went through stress during this period due to the pandemic, but we are ending it well. We try to forget everything as far as the coronavirus is concerned. I am just focusing on finishing my clients' clothes for the feast.
The little ones, in their free spirit, affirm they are ready to feast on because they say their faith is in Allah and are certain help is on the way.
I'm happy to have a new dress to celebrate the Ramadan.
The Ramadan feast, one of the most important periods in the Islamic calendar, Muslim faithful say, will record a special commemoration this year amidst high hopes that the pandemic will soon be completely eradicated from the surface of the earth as they look up to Allah's intervention.
The National Lunar Crescent Commission is the body charged with observing the sky for a new moon. In the absence of the moon sighted in Cameroon, Muslims continued fasting today and will celebrate tomorrow. The spokesperson of the commission, IMAM Professor Suley Mani, now contextualizes this year's breaking of the fast. He was interviewed by Joyce Tata.
The celebration of Ramadan 2020 is going to be particular, as you know. The context is dominated by the fights against the coronavirus. And we have taken measures in order to bring our contribution in this fight. That means the observation of the social distanciation, barriers measures, and respecting the number of the believers who are going to celebrate this feast. All Muslims in Cameroon are going to celebrate, inshallah, the feast of Ramadan. After fasting 30 days, here comes the day of celebration, and we also going to supplicate the Almighty in order to strengthen peace, security, living together, and health in our dear country.
As the feast of the Ramadan approaches, different council authorities in the Northwest region have been donating food items to the Muslim community. This, they say, is a symbol of unity and religious tolerance on which the development of Cameroon lies. Julius Neighbor with the details from CRTV Northwest in Bamenda.
Handing over the foodstuff comprised of 30 bags of rice and 45 cartons of sugar to the Muslim faithful who came in from the different communities of Bamenda 2 Council area and from Nigeria, Mayor Chenui Peter employed them to endeavor to keep themselves safe from the coronavirus as they celebrate the feast of Ramadan.
Through assistance from our minister to the council minister, Mbayu Felix, that we should extend hand of fellowship to our Muslim brothers and sisters in Old Town to assist them, to share with them during this moment of fasting. We give them sanitizers, face masks and the rest.
The Imam of the Bamenda Central Mosque says the food supplement comes in timely as they look forward to celebrate safely.
When the mayor thinks of us at this moment, therefore he has thought of helping the Muslim when there is need. We are trying as much as we can to obey the rules and regulation given by the government in order to arrest this pandemic.
In view to reconcile the people of the different communities and foster peace and development in the Northwest region at large, the Bamenda 2 Council has also organized sporting events to feature a marathon and bike race, amongst others.
Away from the Northwest region, Muslim faithful in the Southwest region have been urged to protect themselves and others from the coronavirus. This was during the distribution of COVID-19 prevention kits to mosques by the Council of Imams and Muslim dignitaries of Cameroon, Sidimuk. Levis Tanjong Agbo tells us more.
In partnership with UNESCO and the Ministry of Women's Empowerment and the Family, the Council of Imams and Muslim Dignitaries of Cameroon distributed COVID-19 preventive kits to all the 35 central mosques in the southwest region in a bid to fight the coronavirus and keep it at arm's length.
So we have received the kit of COVID-19, the bucket, the soap and the mask in order to protect the life of the Muslims. It's only God who can reward them for what they have done, because they know about the importance of the life in the Muslim. Because Allah said that if you save a life of one person, it's as if you have saved the life of all the humanity.
According to the Imam of the Boya Central Mosque, Al-Haji Muhammad Abubakar, the items are coming at a time when Muslim faithfuls are preparing to end the Ramadan period. So he reiterated the need for all Muslim faithfuls to strictly follow COVID-19 preventive measures in order to stay safe.
Nobody enters the mosque without washing his hands or desanitizing them. The imams are the persons to make the faithfuls understand the gravity of this disease, of this pandemic, to know that if the state are able to forego certain activities which bring a lot of finances to the state economy, you will understand that the issue is very, very preoccupying.
While applauding ongoing efforts put in place by imams of the 17 Friday celebrated mosque and the 35 mosque in the southwest region in checking the spread of the coronavirus, he enjoined them to be steadfast in prayers and draw closer to Allah.
Ahead of tomorrow's feast of Ramadan, the Muslim community, religious leaders and commercial motorbike riders in Bazu subdivision were assisted by members of parliament from the area. On behalf of the elected representatives, Honorable Jacqueline Chanya said the move is intended to help the needy and facilitate the moments of deprivation. Go Henry Tiesambe has the details.
And seamstresses in the Hausa neighborhood in Bafoussam say they are making brisk business as they count down to the feast of Ramadan, Narus.
Alhamdulillah, we thank Allah because we have so much job, because I have so much work. They try my best in the period from now. We see that we have corona, this and this, but Alhamdulillah, thank Allah.
The faithful in the city are bracing up spiritually to celebrate the feast.
We thank God now we are having successfully, everything is going normally and our work is going safely. We thank Allah for giving us this time and making this Ramadan completely.
The West Regional President of the Council of Muslim Dignitaries and the spiritual leader, Sidimuk, has called on the faithful to respect measures to fight the coronavirus and celebrate at home.
They should not go out to the various ceremonial grounds to perform the prayers. It is not compulsory that with something like this going on, for them to go out. They still have so many possibilities to perform their prayers without going out.
The faithful know if the feast will take place on Saturday or Sunday.
And as you must have corrected, that feast will be taking place tomorrow, and it was Ngu Henry Tiesambe reporting there on the preparations ahead of the feast in the West region. The Muslim Association known as Zakat el-Fitr, based in Yaoundé, has been supporting Muslim faithful in the nation's capital during the period of fasting and abstinence. According to the president, Yanusa Amadou, the move is in compliance with the teachings of Islam, where assistance is addressed to the needy. Precious TABOT Adzefi has the details.
Their first stop was at the mosque in Etudi, where members of Zakat el-Fitr offered foodstuff like vegetable oil, rice and sugar, amongst others, to some registered families in the area. The same gesture was carried out at the Ecole de Police neighborhood in Yaoundé.
Here we are in the program, in the national program of Zakat el-Fitr. That the aim is to permit to the people that fast during the month of Ramadan to fulfill their Zakat el-Fitr. What the Zakat el-Fitr? The Zakat el-Fitr is a purification for a man that fasts during the month of Ramadan, and is a gift to the people that could not feast at ease at the end of that month.
The donation, which is intended to make sure every Muslim family, irrespective of social standing, has enough to eat during the celebration of the feast of the end of Ramadan, was welcomed with much joy.
I am here to receive my goods, my foodstuff. They gave us foodstuffs, and I want to thank the company, the imams. Our Ramadan will be nice, and we'll celebrate our Tabaski Day. We celebrate it well. Thank you very much for it.
Worthy of note is the fact that this has become an annual exercise the past 8 years in 7 regions of the country.
Preparations are gathering moth in the littoral region. Like elsewhere in the city of Douala, the rush for food items by Muslim faithful is visible. At tailoring workshops, the personnel has been beefed up to meet the demands of customers before the tomorrow deadline. Roselyn Forsap has details on the preparations.
New outfits, special delicacies and an overall beauty, especially on the side of women, are what have been planned for a memorable Ramadan feast in Douala. Muslim faithful have crowded the Douala Central Market for last-minute preparations ahead of the big day. Most of the women who came out for last touches on their hands and legs are also ready to receive the few guests they are expecting. I have already bought my foodstuff, so I just came here today for some drawings. I will cook njapshu, just something small. My husband will be receiving his colleagues. Times are difficult. Though the faithful are complaining of hard times, they have, however, made sure that they get new dresses for their families.
I came here to collect my children's dresses and they are okay. So we are waiting for tomorrow. We don't know if we will be praying in mosque or where we usually pray.
Tailoring workshops are also receiving the few customers who have solicited their services for the feast.
This year is different. Our activities have been blocked, so the few dresses we have are almost finished. This is the last one we are completing.
While the feast of the Ramadan takes place within the world health crisis, the COVID-19, Muslim faithful are, however, thankful for the fasting period marked by a lot of prayers and sharing.
And now on today's arete, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Paul Biya, has declared Monday, May 25, 2020, a public holiday. The decision is contained in an arete signed and published today. It is in relation with the Muslim feast of Ramadan, slated to be celebrated tomorrow. And in a similar note, the Director General of CRTV informs the public and the Muslim community that the end of Ramadan prayer organized tomorrow, Sunday, May 24, 2020, at the Central Mosque of the Briketeri neighborhood in Yaoundé will be broadcast on CRTV radio and television, as well as on CRTV web Facebook page from 8 a.m. The prayer session will take place in strict compliance with the barrier measures taken by the government. It is signed by the Director General of CRTV, Charles Ndongo. Now on to COVID-19 news. New findings have shown that a combination of antiviral drugs holds promise for the treatment of COVID-19. The research done by a cardiologist, Dr. Eloj Yaningini Fopu, combines traditional and modern medicine to produce a drug known as Korokyo. Ewane Pole caught up with the medical experts to find out about the new therapeutic approach. Here's his report.
It is in this hospital at Kradat neighborhood in Yaoundé that the cardiologists carried out a research on the treatment of COVID-19. Results of his findings of a drug named Korokyo have shown that a combination of traditional and modern medicine holds promise for the treatment of coronavirus patients.
The products which has been discovered, you have seen it is extract of a plant. It is heterogeneous because it contains the extract of the plant plus an excipient. And then the patient has to take it. The cure, it is at least 8 days.
The cardiologists hypothesized that Korokyo is a possible therapeutic approach, as a number of persons tested positive are now relieved after taking the drug.
I receive many patients with no problem with cardiology, but with COVID-19. I receive their consentment and then I give them the plant. Antibiotics plus the plant, the groups which receive the herb plus
the antibiotics. I've seen their clinic state ameliorate very rapidly.
He is presently working in collaboration with the Ministry of Public Health in order to put the therapy for use by coronavirus patients.
The mobile application for medical documentation, MEFIRE, is one of the latest applications developed by KTC Health Monitor, a startup in Yaoundé, to store the coronavirus. Once the application is installed in a certified COVID-19 medical facility, a medical practitioner can perform distant consultations and follow up patients through ICT. Yoti Kalelisonge presents the application designed by Steve Biapan.
An innovation sparked by the need to restrain the coronavirus. It is the mobile application for medical documentation, MEFIRE.
It's an application that was developed in order to ensure the follow-up of patients from a distance.
For a patient to get access to the application, the hospital first needs to install it and then send a link to the patient, in this case a certified COVID-19 health facility.
All what the patients or suspects need to do is to create an account on the application. And then when they've done this, they just need to fill in the information such as temperature and other parameters on the consultation form, which will enable the medical doctors to ascertain whether it is a false alarm or a case for concern, in which case the medical doctors, using the geolocalization option on the application, will be able to localize the patients and render adequate help. When the patient has created an account, he can now discuss with a medical doctor either by chat, by video conferencing, or by SMS.
Other advantages include providing patients with an electronic health record. MEFIRE is not built only to fight the coronavirus.
It can be adapted to any other kind of pathology, not just coronavirus.
These startuppers believe exploring the digital world and coming up with ideas that can be exploited to oust COVID-19 is a chance worth taking in this ICT age. As we announced earlier in this newscast, the Muslim community, religious leaders and commercial motorbike riders in Bazu subdivision have been assisted by members of parliament from the area. On behalf of the elected representatives, Honorable Jacqueline Chanya said the move is intended to help the needy and to facilitate the moments of deprivation, as we hear in this report by Ngu Henry Tiesambe.
The gifts comprised of bags of rice, flour, salt, plus cartons of cooking oil and sugar. The Muslim community plus religious authorities in the 5 chiefdoms of the Bazu subdivision benefited. They have thanked the 2 members of parliament of the division, Honorable Jean-Claude Foutu and Honorable Jacqueline Chanya, for the gesture.
We lack words to really appreciate these things that the government has given to us. We are so happy. In times like this, when there's so much difficulties, especially with the COVID-19, which is actually ravaging the population and making life very difficult. Enormous gifts that he has given us to calm us down during the Ramadan period.
The largesse of the members of parliament was also extended to the commercial bike riders in the division who received helmets and aprons. Honorable Jacqueline Chanya has said it was to help the Muslim community better spend the Ramadan feast and reduce the number of road accidents in the municipality. The DO for Bazu, Fopu Aliyu, has enjoined the beneficiaries to make good use of the gift and respect basic hygienic rules so as to roll back the COVID-19 in the subdivision.
Other communities in the West region continue to receive the head of state special gifts to fight the coronavirus in the country. In the Bahuan locality, the mayor, Rene Kamdum, who received the sanitary material on behalf of the population, called for an increased commitment to obey barrier measures. Go Henry Tensambe once again.
The people of Bahuan in the Bamenju subdivision of the Upper Plateau have already benefited from the anti-COVID-19 kits from President Paul Biya. After his message to the nation on the eve of the National Day, the elite of the chiefdom decided to donate more kits and foodstuffs to the population. Bags of rice, soap plus face masks were distributed to them. They thanked President Paul Biya for strides to fight the pandemic. the appointment of sons and daughters of Bahuang, plus the ongoing road project in the chiefdom.
Thank you to the head of state for this special gift. The road who has been tagged, linking Bawang to Bamenju and Baham. This special gift shows how much the head of state is looking, is thinking, and it is taking care of population of Bawang. And we need that the head of state to know that all Bawang are behind him.
Very glad. We want to thank our president for all realization he has done in our council.
In a motion of support, the people of Bahuang promised to remain loyal to President Paul Biya and handed to the SDO for the Upper Plateau, Yampen Usmanu.
The population of Gashiga, Garua 2 and 3 subdivisions, as well as Nakong in the North region, have also been armed with anti-COVID-19 packages. Honorable Mamadou Ali reached out to the people who are exposed to the virus due to negligence and the non-wearing of face masks. Wilson Mengole tells us more.
The advent of the coronavirus in the country, and the North region in particular, has been a preoccupation among the political class in the region. It is as a result of this that the CPDM Member of Parliament of the Benue West constituency, Honorable Mahmouda Ali, has donated anti-COVID-19 kits to tackle the virus in his constituency.
We congratulate the Honorable Mahmouda Ali for this present. COVID-19 is in our country, in our town. We shall use this material for the population.
Gifts which were received with a lot of gratitude for onward transmission to the population.
I thank Honorable Mahmouda Ali for that gift and to make a distribution for the population.
The beneficiary population promised to use the gift for the welfare of all. The MP called on the people of his constituency to respect all barrier measures by the government and stay safe for the coronavirus.
And unfortunately, the number of coronavirus infections continue to rise in Cameroon. 197 new cases have been tested positive for COVID-19 in spite of efforts of the medical corps to save the lives of patients. The reasons for this disturbing rise are varied and range from the non-conformity with the World Health Organization rules to Cameroon's government prescriptions. Beatrice Lawsamba is at the Public Health Emergency Operations Center, and she has updates on the infections and also on the 9 recoveries recorded today. Hello, Beatrice.
Hello, Esther, and welcome to the Public Health Emergency Operations Center. And you got it right, 197 people have been screened positive for coronavirus in Cameroon in the last 24 hours. Quite alarming, and the figures keep ticking up. And that, it's really worrying to health officials here who briefed us a while ago. Dr. Fane Mahamad, who did the updates today, told us that, for the recoveries, the details are a little sketchy. About 9 cases of people who have recovered from the disease, and all of that has been registered in the center region. The figures from elsewhere in the country are awaited as with respect to recoveries. Thank God, no one died from coronavirus in the last 24 hours. We hope it stays that way. And so the numbers ticking up, when the figures keep rising, we want to say coronavirus really does mean business here in Cameroon, like in the rest of the world. It's a global enemy, and we're still fighting that. And so health officials are calling on the population to stay vigilant. Coronavirus means business, but we don't want to do business with coronavirus, right? And so we have to watch out on our behavior, the way we behave in the face of this disease, which kills people every day, which causes severe illness and has imposed long-term changes in the way we live. And so it's not just about our comfort, it's about saving our lives. health officials say they would never emphasize on this enough. People need to stay safe. They need to put themselves in a discomforting situation just to stay safe. That is, they have to wear masks, they have to keep a healthy hand-washing regimen, and they have to respect social distancing measures. And Esther, I think it has come to the point where every one of us has to be each other's keeper, because one person goes wrong, the rest of us are wrong. So is it the colleague who is not keeping the rules? Is it the neighbor who is not keeping the rules? Is it the passers-by? Or is it the person you met in a bus or in a taxi? Is it your old pal? You need to call them back to order. So it has gone to the point where we have to stay safe for each other's sake. We owe ourselves that, to correct each other, and health personnel say we have to do that also for them. So that was emphasized on tonight in tonight's briefing, and so we're afraid we don't have all the details because it's still unfolding. You probably have more in our French newscast. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Britius, for those updates. And the key point that we take home today is that we should protect ourselves and protect others. Now we take you to the Southwest region and to talk about this tragedy. 5 persons are reported dead after a ghastly motor accident around the Idenau-Limbe Road in the Southwest region. The accident, which resulted from a collision between a passenger vehicle and a truck, has been blamed on reckless driving. Administrative authorities regret the incident and have urged the population to respect the highway code. Charles Abuno has the details.
According to officials of the town of Idenau, the car left Limbe for Idenau and had 5 passengers on board. Sources say it was in an attempt to escape a pothole around the Dibuncha area that there was a collision between the truck and the car. All 5 passengers of the car died. Immediately they got wind of the accident, the divisional officer for Idenau and other military officials of the subdivision visited the scene. So far, the corpses have been taken to the mortuary in Limbe. In the meantime, the police have been investigating the real cause of the accident. The divisional officer for Idenau has appealed to the public, especially the drivers, to be prudent and strictly respect the driving code.
The head of state's message to the nation on May 19, which focused on actions taken to stem the spread of the coronavirus, continues to make news. In the economic capital, Douala, the address was watched with rapt attention by the political and administrative class. Governor Samuel Jodone Ivahadiboa lauded the president's initiative, as Alphonse Abongwe reports.
The dictatorship of the health context over the day, considered as the most important in the entire nation, imposed the presidential speech. And that explains the major subject matter of his address to the nation. In Douala, politicians and social actors have different appraisals of the speech.
It's a speech by family heads. Unity of purpose is supposed to lead us to boot out this pandemic from our continent.
The reading is not different within the ranks of the CPDM in the economic capital. To them, the head of state's resolve to prioritize on the health of the people he leads is commendable.
There can be no national unity in sickness, death, or psychological instability. In such a difficult moment, he had to reassure.
It is a symphony of opinions that resonate as well within the corridors of public administration in the region.
The head of state has given a kind of appeal to everyone, no matter the political party you are, but he is asking all of Cameroonians to come together to fight this COVID-19.
The notion of national unity is said to be a reality in the littoral region, going by the origins and socio-professional obligations of the population, who are bound to live and work together even if they disagree over certain ideologies. That too is the beauty of unity.
And that will be all for this edition of the 7:30 p.m. newscast. Tonight, more news will be up at 8:30 p.m. with Karine Oliviabit. I'll be back tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. God willing. Stay tuned to our programs on CRTV and stay safe.